Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today is Booklist Thursday, and Booklist Thursday is something I do with Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book, thoughts, ideas, recommendations, something bookish related. So today's topic is we're going to cover good books with bad covers. Not every book has a gorgeous cover, and not every good book has a gorgeous cover, and not every gorgeous cover is a good book. Did you follow me? I hope so. So here are 5 books that have covers that could be a little bit better, in my own humble opinion. First one is Flight of Dreams. This is by Ariel Lawhon. This is a historical fiction book that covers the Hindenburg, which is a blimp that ended up exploding on May 3rd, 1937, above New York, I want to say. And it is Ariel Lawhon's take on what the details surrounding the Hindenburg could have been on the flight itself. I love her creativity with taking real life events and putting her own little special spin on it. This cover is okay. I feel like her later books, like this I think is published in 2016, I think her newer books and newer covers do a better job of grabbing you into it. I don't know. It's just not my favorite cover. I mean, not that there's anything majorly wrong with it, it's okay. Plus it's another chance for me to talk about Ariel Lawhon, and I can't talk about her enough. Next one I want to talk about, another historical fiction that tends to kind of be a theme. Just stay with me. It is A Tangled Mercy by Joy Jordan Lake. This is also based on true events. It is a dual timeline, multiple POV story. So if those are keywords for you, this one is definitely one you want to check out. This one follows the slave revolt that took place in 1822 in Charleston, I believe. So we have current day timeline with Kate. Kate has lost both of her parents, and one of the things her mom was doing was this huge research project around this slave revolt. Kate hasn't shown a lot of interest in it up until this time, and so she kind of just dives deep into wanting to know why her mom was connected to this. Why was she so interested in it? What about it was such a big deal? So as Kate is discovering that, we have our other POV on our dual timeline pop in, and his name's Tom Russell. He is a slave and a blacksmith that is living in Charleston during the slave revolt, and then you get that story of how he ties into it. Really great book. I read it on my Kindle. I remember reading it really, really fast, but I'll go through my Goodreads and I'll see this cover and I'll have a hard time remembering what it's about. It doesn't necessarily tie into the story, maybe as literally as this does. It could be better. It's not horrible, but it could be better. Then let's see what else. Next up, I want to talk about Hopeless. This cover by Colleen Hoover. Not great. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily pull me in. I believe it's been re-released with a different cover. This is just the one that I happen to have. Hopeless follows Sky and Dean Holder. Sky, I think they're both seniors in high school. They both have a bit of a history and a bit of a past that they're both trying to kind of protect themselves from, run from, whatever you want to call that. They're attempting to kind of... Sky's trying to stay away from Dean. He's not necessarily the best, reputable guy. Continues to keep kind of feeling connected to him. Some truths are told, some trust is broken. It's Colleen Hoover. That's what you're going to get. But I really did like it. Next one I want to talk about is Still Missing by Chevy Stevens. Again, fantastic story. Probably one of my favorites by her, I would say. Easily. So without spoiling anything, we're going to read from the back. So this follows Annie O'Sullivan, and on the day that she was abducted, she's 32 years old, she's a realtor. She had 3 goals in mind. She wanted to sell a house, forget about a recent argument with her mother, and be on time for dinner with her ever-patient boyfriend. So she goes to this open house. It's super slow, and her last visitor pulls up in a van, and just as she's about to leave. And she's contemplating whether or not to still show this house to this person, and she decides, maybe it's my lucky day. Maybe this is the person who's going to buy this house, because she's kind of desperate. She needs to get this house done with. And so then we get interwoven with the story of the year Annie spent captive in a remote cabin, which unfolds through sessions with her psychiatrist. So we know she has escaped. we know the beginning of the story, and she starts taking through that year that she spent during this abduction. And it also covers her escape. That's where I was like, ooh, do I want to, I don't know. And then there's an ongoing police investigation trying to figure out who her captor is, because they still haven't caught him. And you get this idea that maybe things are still going on. Anyways, it is, for this little bit of a book, there's so much packed into this book. It is unputdownable. You cannot stop reading this book. Anybody I've given this to, it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And this cover just doesn't quite do it for me personally. I think it could be better. So this is a must read. Pick that one up for sure. And then my last category, I'm going to call it, of good book, bad covers is this trend around historical fiction books and women with their back to us. I feel like any book I pick up, because this is so prevalent within this genre, automatically turns me off. And it shouldn't, because it doesn't mean it's a bad book. It just, why are we doing this? Can someone out there explain why we're doing this all the time? I'd love to know. This one in particular is The Engineer's Wife. This is by Tracy Anderson Wood. This follows, what's her name? Emily Roebling. She is amazing, and based obviously on a real person. She refuses to live life in a conventional manner. She knows who she is. She's so determined. She's so intelligent. She's amazing. Her husband, Wash, asks the unthinkable of her, to give up her dreams to make his possible. She was fighting for women's suffrage. She puts that on hold as her life is transformed when Wash becomes the chief engineer of the Brooklyn Bridge. He is then injured on the job and ends up asking her to assume his role as chief engineer. And she does it. And she's amazing. She's so amazing. And again, based on true stories of the Brooklyn Bridge and how it's built, which was absolutely fascinating to learn about, in my opinion. Really great book. Little slow, I would say, a bit in the middle, but the things that they had to overcome in order to make this become a reality was just so cool. But again, stop with the women and their backs to us on the covers, please. And thank you. Rant over. So those are my 5 books of good book, bad covers. Again, nothing horrible, but definitely could be better. I do continue to try to not judge books by its cover. I'm not always successful, and that's okay. Head over to Sarah's channel, see what books she has for us for good books, bad covers. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's any books that you say are phenomenal, but the covers are not that great. I would love to check them out. Otherwise, yeah, all that fun stuff. We'll see you next time. Bye.